I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
That moment is not far. It is just a matter of time before Donald Trump is sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. It is a red sweep in the U.S. The Republicans have won the presidency and control of the U.S. Congress. But do you wonder what's in it for you and everyone else in the next 4 years of Trump 2.0? Hello and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Munmun Bhattacharya. Let's connect the dots of how Trump 2.0 could shape America and the world. So let's first see what's in it for Trump himself. Enormous political power and legal relief for 4 years. Trump is due to be sentenced in 3 weeks in the New York hush money case, but it probably won't happen. Legal experts expect the judge to call off the sentencing. So what's the case about? Trump was convicted in May on 34 counts of falsifying business records. That was in connection with a scheme to cover up a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign. Trump faces 3 other criminal cases. All of them are a long way from trial. As president, he will have the authority to shut down federal cases against him, though he won't have the same control over the hush money case or Georgia's prosecution of him for trying to overturn his 2020 loss in that state. But all are likely to stall at least for the next 4 years that he will be in office. For the American public, a couple of messages are worth noting. Stars don't get you votes. Neither Taylor Swift, nor Lady Gaga, nor Julia Roberts, nor Beyonce, nor Jennifer Lopez could swing it for Kamala Harris. Kamala's A-list had more stars like Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Harrison Ford, and Oprah Winfrey, all rooting for Harris. So celebrity support means little to voters. Also, money can't buy you an election because Harris outdid Trump on campaign donations, even though Trump had a bigger share of billionaire dollars in his kitty. But inflation worries could worsen for average Americans because tariffs, along with the biggest mass deportation of illegal immigrants in history and a presidential say in Fed Reserve policy, all put together, may fuel inflation and set the US economy on a wild ride. Though Trump believes they will shore up the US economy and his push to domestic manufacturing will create hundreds of thousands of new jobs. What's more, opinion polls have once again proven to be far from reliable. They got it wrong in 2016 when they gave Hillary Clinton a 95% winning chance. And the slight leads pollsters gave to Kamala Harris this time around until election day voting have all turned out to be off the mark. On foreign policy, expect a roller coaster. Trump supports Israel's fight to destroy Hamas in Gaza, but he wants Netanyahu to finish the job quickly. Expect him to continue arming Israel, have a no-strings-attached approach to humanitarian concerns, and give Bibi a free hand with Iran. But Trump would like a hostage release and ceasefire deal sealed quickly in West Asia. Under him, expect America to get closer to Saudi Arabia years after he mediated the Abraham Accords between Israel and the UAE and Israel and Bahrain. Trump could also make overtures to North Korea, refreshing memories of his summit with Kim in Hanoi. He could make another bid to get it to halt its nuclear weapons program. In Europe, Ukraine hopes US under Trump would keep supporting it, but it is quite wary after Trump criticized the scale of US military and financial support for Kyiv. Trump's personal liking for Vladimir Putin and a less confrontational approach towards Russia compared to the Biden administration holds hope for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal. Europeans, by the way, are still licking their wounds from Trump's first term. they have not forgotten his tariffs and antagonism towards the EU and Germany. Europe is not prepared for the economic impact of higher American tariffs, a possible U-turn on Ukraine by the US, and Trump's defense spending ultimatums for NATO members. For India, there could be big relief on the Russia front though. It may mean India won't have to walk on eggshells anymore. Given the past bonhomie between PM Narendra Modi and Donald Trump, one can sense a degree of delight in New Delhi at his return to the White House, though that is tinged with apprehension at his hardline stance on trade and loose cannon approach to geopolitical engagement. U.S. India strategic convergence over China's aggressive and expansionist behavior in the Indo-Pacific is expected to grow further, even as the U.S. tariff war with China particularly could get worse. Expect Trump to keep Pakistan in its place too, like he did in his first term. For Indians though, entry to the US and American citizenship could get tougher. Curtailing citizenship by birth may hit 1 million Indians stuck in green card queue. Restrictive H-1B visa policies and shorter visas for Indian students could be in the offing. Trump could turn the clock back yet again on climate action. So he may junk the Paris Climate Accord and scale down climate action. So for the world, it means trading tensions, a doubling down against China, no free ride for Zelensky, more backing for Bibi, turning the heat on climate change, and having to put up with Trump's signature style of working. Remember, Trump has a transactional approach and is sure to demand a pound of flesh for every pound he gives. So let's all brace for a roller coaster ride. Law and order in Canada seems to be in testing times. A Hindu temple in Canada's Brampton was attacked by extremists. The Hindu Canadian Foundation reported that women and children were also attacked by the violent mob. India's Ministry of External Affairs condemned the violence and demanded prosecution of those involved in the attack. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also condemned the attack. On social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "I strongly condemn the deliberate attack on a Hindu temple in Canada. Equally appalling are the cowardly attempts to intimidate our diplomats. Such acts of violence will never weaken India's resolve. We expect the Canadian government to ensure justice and uphold the rule of law." One thing important to note here is that Canadian authorities had been requested to provide strong security measures for these events, which constitute routine consular work. But the Trudeau administration probably did not take it seriously, and it shows how these extremists enjoy the support of the Trudeau government. This is not the first time a Hindu temple was attacked in Canada. In July this year, the Swaminarayan temple in Edmonton was vandalized by extremists. Last year, the Swaminarayan Mandir in Canada's Ontario was also vandalized. The relationship between India and Canada took a sharp downturn in September last year when Trudeau alleged that Indian agents might have been involved in the killing of terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. New Delhi rejected the claim outright. Last month, India recalled its High Commissioner in Canada after the diplomat was named as a person of interest by Canada in its probe into Nijjar's killing. India's External Affairs Ministry accused Trudeau of exploiting anti-India rhetoric for domestic political gain, highlighting his previous associations with separatist elements. Listen to what India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said.
Let me make three comments. One, Canada has developed a pattern of making allegations without providing specifics. Secondly, when we look at Canada, for us, the fact that they're putting our diplomats under surveillance is something which is unacceptable. Third, the incidents which the gentleman there spoke about, and do look at the video. I think they would tell you, in a way, the political space today, which is being given to extremist forces there. So we believe in freedoms. We also believe freedom should not be misused.
India lodged a strong protest with Canada for linking India's Home Minister Amit Shah to some alleged plots against extremists in Canada.
Government of India protests in the strongest terms to the absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by Deputy Minister David Morrison.
But that's not all. Canada is also spying on Indian diplomats there.
Some of our consular officials were recently informed by the Canadian government that they have been and continued to be under audio and video surveillance. Their communications have also been intercepted. By citing technicalities, the Canadian government cannot justify the fact that it is indulging in harassment.
So if you are wondering why Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hasn't taken action against the recent surge in extremist activities in Canada despite India's requests, here is the reason. Well, it's because Trudeau's government is a minority government, which means it relies on the support of other parties to stay in power. Specifically, Trudeau's Liberal Party has an alliance with the New Democratic Party, or NDP, led by Jagmeet Singh, an extremist sympathizer. The NDP has 24 seats in Parliament, which is a significant number considering Trudeau's Liberal Party only has 157 seats. To stay in power, Trudeau needs 170 seats. The reason Trudeau can't afford to upset Singh is that the NDP has a lot of influence over the Liberals. With Trudeau's backing, Singh has been able to take a strong stand against India and in support of the extremists. In fact, the entire extremist network in Canada has become more active. Let's go back in time to 1985. Canadian authorities had received intelligence that Air India Flight 182 Kanishka was a potential target for terrorists. But despite this warning, the Canadian government chose to ignore the alerts from India, and the consequences were devastating. A bomb planted by extremists destroyed the flight mid-air, killing 329 passengers, mostly Canadians. What's even more shocking is that the Canadian intelligence agency, CSIS, had a mole within the terrorist group. But they removed the mole just before the bombing incident. The Kanishka bombing was one of the deadliest acts of aviation terrorism in history. And at the time, Pierre Trudeau was the Prime Minister of Canada. Fast forward to 2024, and his son, Justin Trudeau, is now the Prime Minister. But unfortunately, Canada is again becoming a safe haven for extremists. It is a pattern that is repeating itself, and it's a cause for concern. The building you see on your screen is a luxury hotel in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires. One can get a beautiful view from the hotel's balcony. But the hotel is in the headlines for a different reason: the death of singing sensation Liam Payne. On 16th October, the 31-year-old British singer died after falling from a third-floor balcony of his hotel room. So what led to this tragic event? The autopsy revealed Payne died from multiple injuries and bleeding caused by the fall. But the circumstances surrounding the pop star's death remain unclear. Investigations are ongoing. Now listen to this.
911, emergencia.
Hola, buenos días. Estamos del Hotel Casa Sur Palermo, Costa Rica 6032.
This is the audio recording of the 911 call made by a hotel staff member to Buenos Aires police before Liam Payne fell from the balcony. They reported a guest extremely intoxicated with drugs and alcohol, destroying his room. Payne had been in Argentina after attending former One Direction bandmate Niall Horan's concert. He was holidaying with girlfriend Kate Cassidy, a social media influencer who left 2 days before the incident. Reports say his ex-girlfriend was also staying at the same hotel before the incident. Hotel residents described hearing loud noises from Payne's room before his death. Police found the room in disarray, with furniture smashed, TV screen broken, bottles and traces of white powder. Initial toxicology reports revealed multiple drugs in Payne's system, including pink cocaine. According to reports, multiple drug exchanges between a dealer and a hotel employee took place prior to Payne's death. Police are investigating if a hotel employee provided Payne with drugs. CCTV footage shows Payne sleeping in the lobby with liquor. There is also an angle of two mystery women. Reports say police identified the presence of two women at the hotel in the hours before Payne's death. Payne was reportedly seen arguing with a woman about money in the hotel lobby. These women left the hotel shortly before Payne fell to death from the balcony. Liam Payne had spoken publicly in the past about his struggles with fame and alcoholism. Liam's father, Jeff, was in Buenos Aires to repatriate the body of his son for burial in England. Fans around the world paid tribute to the late singer.
One Direction front row, please, guys!
Liam Payne's journey to stardom began with one of the most iconic boy bands of the 2010s, One Direction. Formed on the 7th season of the X Factor UK in 2010, One Direction was show's judge Simon Cowell's brainchild. The group consisted of 5 talented young singers: Liam Payne, Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Louis Tomlinson and Zayn Malik. Their rise to fame was meteoric. Between 2011 and 2015, One Direction released 5 studio albums, each achieving platinum status in the United States. They dominated charts globally and in the UK with multiple #1 hits. So what made them so big? Well, they had some amazing hits. What Makes You Beautiful, Little Things and Drag Me Down are just a few examples. These songs won hearts worldwide and One Direction became a household name. After Zayn Malik's departure from One Direction in 2015, the band continued for another year before announcing an indefinite hiatus in 2016. This marked the beginning of a new chapter for Liam Payne and the other band members who went on to pursue solo careers. Payne quickly found success with his debut solo single, Strip That Down, released in 2017, which peaked at #3 on the UK singles chart. Since then, he's continued to release new music, with his last single, Teardrops, releasing in March 2024. Tragically, Liam Payne's life was cut short, leaving fans and the music world in shock. Liam Payne's untimely death serves as a stark reminder of the darker side of fame and the devastating consequences of addiction. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.